Happy Friday, everybody. Good morning. We're gonna get started here in just a second. All right, guys, see if you guys can see setup here. Move this back just a tad bit. There we go. Okay, guys, good morning. My name is Ben, physical therapist with Pro+Kinetix Physical Therapy and Performance in Uptown Oakland. Today we're going to be going over mobility. All right. So I know a lot of you guys are at home and kind of working from a makeshift desk and maybe having some increase in neck tightness, low back pain, and whatnot too, and maybe feeling like your hips are a little bit tight. Especially a lot of my patients have been saying that they're when they're doing these bodyweight squats that they're having a lot of hip discomfort and tightness. So we're going to kind of put emphasis on that today, is hip mobility, and then also some mid-back and neck exercises as well. So if you guys have questions, I've got my phone here so I can see the comments as well. So if you have questions, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer any questions that come in. Again, I don't want you guys to leave here with any questions. This isn't just about mobility. If you guys have certain areas that are tight or painful, put that in the comments, and we can kind of tailor it to the mobility class today to help kind of fix those issues as well. But yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll get started. So what we're going to do is we are going to get started with the hip mobility. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into a figure 4 position. Okay, 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here, and then 90 degrees in the back. And we're taking our chest and we're going down into the floor. Okay, bringing that knee to the chest. We should feel a pretty good stretch here in our glutes. Okay, and you can kind of play around with this too. You don't have to go directly with your sternum over your knee. You can also kind of go off to the side and lean in. You can also come in more towards your foot. Okay, you can play around with that. Everybody's gonna be a little bit different. Find the area that feels, or the direction that feels most tight for you. Let me see here, and pull up the video so you can see any questions that might be coming in. Okay, all right, now we're gonna go ahead and switch over to the right side and do the exact same thing. All right, and we're leaning in. All right, again, we should feel a nice, good stretch in our glute area. Ideally, we want to be holding this for about 30 seconds. And again, if any of you guys do have questions, put those in the comments. Yeah, none of these should be painful. If you're having any pain with these, stop and let me know. We got to figure out what the cause of that is. All these should feel pretty darn good, actually. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go after the hamstring. So what I want you to do is you're gonna put one leg behind here and then one leg out in front, and then we're just gonna lean into that. Okay, try and bring that chest down. We should feel a pretty good stretch or pull here in the back of the leg. Some of you guys may also feel a stretch kind of in this back leg as well. It depends how tight everybody is. Okay, and I want, you guys might be able to see that I have my knee slightly bent. That's actually a good thing. That will help us target the hamstring a little bit more. We also have a nerve that goes down the back of our leg. I know some of you guys may have heard the term sciatica. All right, and so if we keep the leg straight, it actually puts tension on that nerve. And when we try and lean forward, we might actually be stretching that nerve and not even be able to tap into the hamstring. So by bending the knee a little bit, it takes the tension off that nerve, and then we can target 100% at that hamstring area. Okay, let's go and switch and do the same thing. Other side. Okay, again, knee slightly bent, and then we're leaning forward. Yeah, we're trying to get a 2 for 1 because we are actually mobilizing this left hip as well. All right, and relax. Okay, next thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna turn this around so you guys can see a better view of this. I'm gonna assume you guys all have foam rollers. If you don't, that's okay. I'll make modifications and show you how you can modify them so you don't even need a foam roller. Foam roller is just gonna make it a little bit more intense. All right, you can do, for right now, let's actually just use the foam roller as head support for now. We'll get into more of that in just a second. All right, what we're gonna do is we're going to cross one leg over here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the backside or the side of our knee, and we're gonna try and pull that knee up to into the left shoulder in that direction, kind of at a diagonal position. All right, we should feel pretty good stretch right in our glute, right here. So this muscle that we're stretching is called the piriformis. This piriformis isn't really that big of a muscle. And so again, we talked about sciatica. That sciatic nerve travels underneath that piriformis. So if that piriformis gets tight, it can compress down on that nerve and cause some discomfort down the leg or localized right in that area. However, a lot of times people just stretch the piriformis and they do get relief for a day or two, but then it eventually goes right back. That's the thing about mobility. To maintain mobility, you have to keep doing it day in and day out. However, you can get away with doing less mobility if you actually build up the strength around the joint that's needed to stabilize that joint. That joint wants stability. If it's not getting that stability, it's going to start recruiting other muscles that aren't supposed to be doing a lot of that stabilization, and those muscles will get overworked and then tight. And when they get overworked, they get tight, and then when they get tight, it becomes painful. That's exactly what happens with this piriformis. All right, let's go and switch and do the same thing on the left side. So again, we're pulling the left knee in the direction of the right shoulder. And so I have a lot of patients that come in and I give them the piriformis stretch on the first session, and they're like, how many times a day, and do I have to be doing these exercises the rest of my life? And I'm like, well, it depends. Are you going to treat the root issue, or are you just going to put Band-Aid over it? What I mean by that is the stretch is kind of a Band-Aid. It's going to make you feel better, but that's not going to be the thing that gets you long-term relief. Building up strength within the glutes, okay, and getting the glutes to be strong enough and doing their job is what's going to actually make the biggest difference and treating the root cause and giving you that long lasting relief. So you don't have to be doing this piriformis stretch every single day to get the relief that you're looking for. So ideally, we're holding these stretches for about 30 seconds. One thing you can do instead is focus on your breathing and doing 6 deep breaths instead. It just helps the entire body relax. If we can get the entire body to relax, then that muscle that we're trying to stretch is going to relax, and then we get improved stretching with that. All right, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna switch back. We're gonna cross the right leg over the left, and instead of pulling towards our opposite shoulder, we're gonna actually push away. So we're gonna take our hand and stretch out like this as we're pushing that knee away. You guys feel with these exercises, feel some discrepancies left versus right. And one thing that can be causing those discrepancies is are you crossing one leg over the other more often than not? Usually when people cross their legs, it's always they're doing it on the same side every time. And this can create those imbalances and the tightness there. All right, let's switch and do the same thing other side. So again, left over right, and then we're pushing out and away. And then, so ideally you'd be doing 2 or 3 sets of all these mobility exercises. We're just doing one because I want to give you guys as much variety as possible today. If you want a copy of this routine, I can send this to your email. Just direct message me or private message me on Facebook at Ben Boggy, and I can send this to your email. I have a video guide, written description, how many reps, how many sets, and how often you should be doing these as well. So I'm happy to send that over to you guys if you'd like. Just let me know. All right, guys. Now we're going to go and switch, and we are going to put our feet flat on the floor, and then our arms into a T position. And what we're doing here is we're just going to start with small oscillations where we're going left to right. Okay, so we're just bringing the knees side to side, and then we're going to work our way to going all the way down to the floor. So this is an exercise that's great if you wake up with some low back discomfort or tightness. You can just wake up, lay on your back, and then start with these gentle oscillations. You don't want to go working your way all the way down to the floor on that first rep. Just start with small oscillations left to right. And as you get more comfortable with this, then you can start increasing this and get closer down to the floor. Let's do 5 more side to side. Get nice and gentle. Focus on your breathing. You shouldn't be flying through these. All right, and relax. Now we're going to pull the knee to our chest. Let's start with the right, and we are just going to be pulling that knee up to our right knee to our right shoulder. Some of you may feel this in the low back, some may feel it in the glute, some may feel it in the hamstring. See if any of you guys have questions or anything. Okay, and let's switch to the same thing on the left. Again, left knee to the left shoulder. All right, good. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going into, I want you guys to take your feet, place the bottom of your feet together. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to gently let both knees go out to the side, and then we're going to take our hands and we're going to push down gently on each knee to kind of open up that groin area. Should feel this kind of on the inside of the leg and up in the groin area as well. Some of you might not even need any added pressure. The weight of the leg might just be enough. All right? But yeah, if you want to make these more intense, then you can just place your hands on the inside of the leg, and that will add some added pressure. All right, and relax. So we're going to work on some ankle mobility. And we're going to also, this mobility exercise is also a test. All right, so let's see if we can get this set up here so you guys can see this a little bit better. Turn this around to the wall here. Okay, let's pull this up. Okay, so you guys are able to see that. Okay, so what we're gonna do a test. All right, so I want you to find a wall. I want you to bring your foot up, all the toes all the way up to the wall, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your knee and you're gonna try and touch that wall without letting that heel come up, all right? You should be able to do that, all right? We're gonna see where everybody's got limitations here, okay? Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring that toe back another inch and do the exact same thing, okay? Knee to the wall, all right? Try and keep that heel down, okay? We're just gonna go inch by inch until we run out of range of motion, okay? All right, make sure that heel doesn't come up. Okay, so this is kind of my limitation. You can see my heel's coming up a little bit. I'm about 4.5 inches away from the wall here, okay? So we ideally, what the research shows is we need to be able to get, for adequate walking, and so our walking isn't impacted, ideally 3 inches away from the wall. If you're not there, you've got some pretty tight ankles and tight calves, and so this can lead and put you at increased risk for injury. If you're doing a lot of squatting and a lot of strength training with squats and deadlifts and lunges, we want and a lot of running, we ideally want 5 inches away from that wall, okay? So if you're not quite there, you're at increased risk for injury, okay? And then we're gonna also do the same thing on the other side, okay, to test. Okay, we wanna see if there's any imbalances here. You're actually, research shows you're better off having two equally bad ankles with regards to like 2 inches on each side rather than having one that's 3 or one that's 4 and then one that's 2. You're better off having 2 and 2. That's how important asymmetry is. Okay, we're gonna go inch by inch, see where your self-limitation is. Okay, see how far you're able to get. Okay, again, we want that knee to be tracking directly over that big toe. All right, so you're like, well, I've got a lot of you guys will realize you have pretty darn tight calves and don't meet those requirements. So we're gonna stretch those calves. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna straighten this back leg. Doesn't matter what this leg's doing a whole lot, that front leg, you just wanna relax that one. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna stretch that back leg. Okay, we can push against the wall. And you should feel a pretty good stretch in that back leg. Keep that back leg straight. We're gonna hold for about 30 seconds. Again, I don't know if you guys can see me, but I'm actually using my hands and placing them on the wall and pushing away. I'm gonna kind of back up so you guys can see that a little bit better. Okay, so I'm here like this, and then pushing. Let's do about 30 seconds here, and then we're gonna switch. So a lot of times when people come in and see me for knee injuries, it's actually not really the knee's fault. A lot of times it's actually coming from the ankle. When we don't have adequate ankle range of motion, then there's extra requirements needed by the knee as well as the hip joint. Okay, so a lot of times I hear a lot of people that come in and be like, yeah, I did all these. I'm like, what have you done? What have you tried? And they're like, oh, I've gone on YouTube and searched what are the best knee exercises to decrease knee pain. All right, the thing with that is there's so many different tissues and so many different types of knee injuries. It's not a one size fits all thing. And even if you do have the same injury, everybody's injury is just a tad bit different, and there can be different reasons for that injury. Right? And so a lot of times those exercises are just targeting the knee, but in reality, it was the ankle, right? And that's the importance of taking a full body approach and looking at the joints below and above, okay, that injured site. Okay, it could also be coming from the hip. That's common as well. Okay? So now we're gonna switch back to the other leg, the leg we started with. Instead of keeping that leg straight, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and bend that knee. Do you see how I'm bending my knee? And we're trying to drive that towards the floor. Okay, you should feel a stretch a little bit lower into the kind of the Achilles area or lower in the calf. All right, that's because there's 2 different calf muscles. One attaches above the knee, one attaches below. And I hear so many times people are like, I'm like, okay, show me what stretches you've been doing. Like, I've been stretching my calves, they're not getting any better. Well, they just did one of these stretches. They only were targeting one of the calf muscles. So essentially 50% of the calf, right? They were missing the other 50%, all right? And that's what made the big difference, right? So make sure you're targeting both muscles here, okay? Now we're gonna do a switch to the other side, same thing. Back leg, we're driving that knee down to the floor. So if you've had a lot of ankle injuries in the past, even if it was 5 years ago, most likely your ankle's still experiencing the tightness from that still, and it's still impacting you. Because a lot of times patients come in for the first evaluation. I'm like, okay, tell me what other injuries you had. And they talk about like big ones, like if they tore their meniscus or something like that. But they always forget and don't mention their ankle sprains that they've had. And those make just as big of a difference as previous bigger injuries, such as like meniscus tears, ACL tears, and other injuries, because of when we sprain our ankle, we limit our mobility and it gets pretty darn tight. Okay. All right, so those are the two best calf stretches that you guys can start working on. Okay, and again, if you got some limitations there, or if you got some knee pain, and you notice that your ankle mobility is limited, that's probably where I would start too. Okay, but again, that's how important it is to have a detailed full body assessment with things. Okay? So we're gonna go back and work on that ankle mobility again. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're going to interlock our arms here. Okay, so we're pinning, so we don't want the upper leg to be moving too much. All right, it kind of locks everything in, and then from there, we're just making ankle circles. All right, we're exploring every single different range of motion, making one big circle, nice and slow. And we're gonna do 3 there. Okay, and then let's go clockwise. Okay, let's do the same thing other leg. You guys may feel some popping and cracking. As long as it's not painful, you guys are okay. Not too worried about it. If you are having pain with it, you need to get that checked out. All right, let's go the other direction. Let's do 3 more. Good, and relax. All right, guys. So, like I said, if you guys have any questions, just message me, private message me through Facebook. You can put in the comments. Sometimes I don't get a notification about any comments here. So your best bet is contact me through Facebook, or you can you can search us on Google, Pro+Kinetix Physical Therapy and Performance, and you'll be able to find us there. And you can call me or email me, or you can submit a form through our website too. And I'm happy to help out. But again, don't let these things linger on. All right. If you guys do have some injuries and this actually seemed to help, that means we're on the right track with things. Your body just needs a little bit more. If it made things worse, all right, your body just needs something different. All right. And so I had I do mobility classes for a couple other different gyms in the area. And I had somebody reach out and be like, yeah, these made my pain worse. And I'm like, okay, let's get you in for an assessment, figure out what is going on. And turned out her body just needed something different. All right, she was having pain sleeping, and she was having difficulty walking. And she came in, we gave her a few different exercises, and now she's actually running. She's out running. She's running Lake Merritt and pain free. And so her body just needed something different. All right. If you do have pain with these, it's actually a good sign. It tells me that you just need something different, and it kind of weeds out different injuries as well. So if you guys are interested, just let me know. Happy to help out. But yeah, if you guys also want the mobility routine, just private message me. I'm happy to send that over your email. But yeah, hope you guys have a good Friday and enjoy your weekend, and stay safe and healthy out there. All right, bye guys.